You guys need to develop the ability to always think in the second, third, and fourth order. What do I mean by this? Whenever you make a decision or you make a choice, there's not just one consequence, right? When you decide to buy that TV in your room, there's not just the one consequence of, oh, now I have to watch this TV. No, there's a slew of consequences that follow after that you're going to have to suffer now. So even with just understanding that or just hearing me say that, you should already be thinking like, okay, if I want to be able to achieve my goals and become extremely successful, I want to make as many decisions that are going to lead to a slew of positive consequences and avoid as many decisions that are going to lead to a slew of negative consequences. Because you, even though you might not have thought about it till now that I'm mentioning it, yeah, every single time you've made a choice, there's always been a bunch of consequences that follow. It's never just been one thing occurs and then, all right, cool, I am reset to normal. Now I can just make whatever decisions I want to make. Nah, it's always, it leads to a bunch of other horrible shit. So to put this in perspective, to give you an example here, using the TV thing I just mentioned. Okay, let's say you buy TV for your room, right? Well, now that you've bought the TV in your room, the first consequence is, well, now you have to use this TV to justify this purchase, because why the fuck would you buy a TV for your room and not use it, right? Okay, so now you bought the TV and now you need to watch the TV because you bought it for your room. You want to justify the purchase. Okay, so you start watching the TV. But now that you have the TV in your room, you realize, well, shit, I got all this other important shit that I got to do during the day. So the only time I can really use this TV is right before I go to bed. Well, now that you start watching the TV right before you go to bed, you go to sleep a lot later, right? And because you're going to sleep a lot later, you always snooze past your alarm. When you snooze past your alarm, now you sleep even longer than you should be. This means that you start your day a lot later. Now that you're starting your day a lot later, you're less productive than you otherwise were when your schedule was normal before you even had the TV there in the first place. So now your days are getting started later and you're a lot more tired because you also went to sleep later. So sometimes now you'll try to force yourself to wake up later, earlier than the amount of sleep that you actually got, which is obviously horrible because you want to get a full amount of 8 hours of sleep or whatever, but now you're getting like more like 6 or 5. So now you're a lot more tired. Now you have to rely on caffeine a lot more. Your performance during the day when it comes to doing productive stuff that involves you achieving your goals is just a lot lower than usual. And all this just came from you buying a TV in your room. All that just came. All these, like, I'm tired, a lot more tired now. My performance is dropping compared to the level of performance you had before you even bought the TV in the first place. And it's these little details, because some of you guys might be watching this right now and be thinking, well, Ali, that's not really a fucking big deal. I'm like, well, nigga, yes, it is. When you're trying to be an extreme winner and extremely successful, the details fucking matter. And that kind of detail really matters because you want to squeeze as much output out of yourself. You want to squeeze as much productivity out of yourself. So you want to make sure that there's nothing that lowers your productivity at all, because that could really mean the difference between you becoming extremely successful and you just being decent or mediocre. Understand? So a simple decision like buying a TV can have that much effect on your productivity. So you want to be very careful with small decisions like that. You might be like, oh, this won't hurt, but nigga, yes, it will. It's going to hurt really bad. And you're going to pay the price for it. And you're only going to realize how bad it hurt when it's too late. Once you've already given up a month's worth of productivity you could have had, you're going to realize like, oh shit, why am I so unproductive compared to last month? Oh, I bought that fucking TV. That's where it all stemmed from. Because usually when a lot of shit like that happens to your life, it stems from one bad decision. And imagine you add in 2 or 3 other bad decisions now, then it's 3 times the volume of consequences, because these consequences now intertwine in shit. Understand? So you got to really avoid all decisions that could lead to these slew of bad consequences. But now let me give you a benevolent version, a positive version of this. Let's say you're a fat fuck right now, which a lot of you niggas probably watching this are, right? You're a fat fuck. Let's say you start going to the gym. Okay, you start going to the gym. All right, now that you're going to the gym, you're starting to lose weight, and it's like, okay, you're starting to get more confidence in yourself. Now you're starting to lose weight and you're starting to build more muscle. You're like, damn, I'm looking clean. I'm looking strong as shit, right? You're starting to look more like me, you know what I'm saying? Got them abs on me, you know what I'm saying? You're starting to look more like your boy. I don't know, YouTube might take that shit down, but anyway, you start to look more like me. So your body's developing, you're getting a lot stronger. And you're like, okay, you're starting to develop a lot more confidence in yourself. You're like, okay, yeah, now I feel great. You know what I'm saying? My mental's feeling good. I got more confidence in myself. You also get higher energy levels because it's been scientifically proven when you work out a lot, and you're in the gym a lot, you get higher energy levels per day. Now that you have higher energy levels and you have a lot more confidence, you perform a lot better at work. You perform a lot better when it comes to whatever other goals that you're trying to pursue. right? So naturally, this leads to what? You making more money, you making more progress. Girls also start to find you a lot more attractive. Why? Because you're making a lot more money and you're in shape. Do you see here? All this came from just you deciding to go to the gym. One singular decision from you just deciding to go to the gym regularly. Boom. Now you're making a fuck ton more money and women find you hot from this one simple decision. So look at it here. You want to make as many decisions as that as possible. Because you know how I said when it comes to making a bad decision, there's a slew of consequences. And then when you add this in with other bad decisions, it's 3x that. Well, the same is true for positive decisions. You know, you're going to the gym. Now you made this one decision to start going to the gym. Boom. You got a lot more benefit from that. All right. You decided to cut off that bum ass friend from your life. So now you don't have that distraction in your life anymore. Boom. You got more time and attention back to put back into your goals. You see what I'm saying? So you can add more good decisions into your life that stack upon each other, that lead to a slew of amazing consequences for your life. You know what I'm saying? So all in all, to kind of say here to you guys, whenever you are making a decision in your life, because your guys' lives should be directly dedicated to your purpose and your goals and gaining more power. Everything else doesn't matter. Every fucking thing else is a distraction. Anything that is not you making more money, gaining more power, becoming more ambitious, distraction. Absolute distraction. You should not give a fuck. So with that being established, every single time you make a decision, you should be thinking in the second, third, fourth order. You should be like, okay, when I make this choice, what are the other consequences that are going to come from this? If I make this move, okay, I make this move, what happens next? Okay, I'll probably get this thing. Now that I got this thing, this other good thing is going to happen. Then this good thing, this good thing. And if you realize there's a bunch of good things that happen from you making this one choice, then it's like, boom, okay, yes, let's make that choice, because we want to get all those good benefits later. But if you're on the other side of this and you're looking and you're about to make a decision, you're like, okay, if I go to that party this one time, if I drink this alcohol that one time, if I vape this one time, if I buy this weed this one time, well, it's going to lead to me being lazy tomorrow. And if I'm lazy, my output's going to be lower and I'm going to make less money. And you realize that there's all these bad consequences from this one decision. Don't fucking do it. You want to avoid it like the plague. You know what I'm saying? And it's by doing this that you ensure that you're going to be a massive winner in your future, because the more good decisions that you stack, and by good decision, I mean a decision that's going to lead to a slew of good consequences when you're thinking about it, when you're playing it out, the more amazing your future is going to be. The more amazing your future is going to be, because all of these good decisions and consequences are going to intertwine with each other to give yourself an amazing life. You know, you might not see the benefits instantly. You know, there's obviously delayed gratification here. You're not going to see the benefits instantly, but you're going to get to a point when you're winning so big you can't even like handle it. It's just fucking crazy how much you're winning. You know what I'm saying? And I want you guys to be like that. I want you guys to feel that and experience that. So make sure you guys are constantly thinking in the second, third, and fourth order at all times. Don't just think when I make this one choice, only one bad thing is going to happen. No, whenever you are making a decision, you should be thinking about what's the next consequence and the next consequence and the next consequence. This way you can avoid making life-altering, horrible decisions simply because you thought about it in the second or third order. I'm telling you, thinking about shit in the second or third order can absolutely change your life and put your life into the right direction instead of the wrong one. Because you then realize, you know what? I know what weed does to niggas. I'm never going to smoke weed. You know what? I know what alcohol does to niggas. I'm never going to do that shit. You know what? I see what hanging around those dudes has led to for a lot of other guys. I'm not doing that shit. You know? And it's absolutely life-changing when you start thinking about it that way. So that's how I kind of want you guys to move from now on. Not even kind of. That's how you guys need to fucking move for sure. And it makes you feel like a demigod, bro. You feel like you have so much more control over your life because you actually think about the following consequences instead of just making moves and just being like, oh, that wasn't that bad when it was really fucking bad. And you're only going to realize it's really fucking bad like a month from now. So keep your head on the swivel in that way when you're thinking about any choices that you're making in your fucking life.